Really, I get this question all the time. What is the average payout for a personal injury claim? What is the average payout for a personal injury claim? Well, simple. If you hire me, it's way more than anyone else. No, I'm just kidding. But really, I get this question all the time. If I get involved in an accident, is it worth my time to call a lawyer, to go through the entire process, go to the doctor's visits, and have them build up a settlement for me? Well, I'm gonna give you the exact numbers at the end of this video, but I'm gonna tell you first that your case is worth whatever your medical records show. So if you have just a single chiropractic visit, you get in an accident and you decide to go to the chiropractor one time just to get adjusted, you're not gonna get paid 50 grand on that case. Well, hold on a second. I've actually made $50,000 on a case with a single chiropractic visit in the past. That was one time out of the thousands of cases that I've worked on. One time, I was able to get a client $50,000 from just one chiropractic visit. But how did I do that? Well, watch my video on punitive damages, and I'll explain exactly how we went from a $200 medical bill to a $50,000 settlement. But for the purposes of this video, 99.9% of your cases are basically gonna be worth whatever your medical records show, unless there's extenuating circumstances like punitive damages. So if you go to the emergency room, you get CT scans, you get x-rays, you get all of this treatment, and then you follow up with an orthopedic doctor and then physical therapy, obviously your medical records are gonna show that you have serious injuries. And that's how you establish a case against the insurance company, because now you have third-party evidence that shows the severity of your injuries. So don't assume that you're gonna make a lot of money, right, just from getting into an accident. There are steps that you have to follow in order to maximize your case. Now, with that being said, how much is the average payout for my personal injury case? I can tell you from experience, on the smaller value claims, the ones where you don't have to spend the entire day or the entire night at the emergency room, the ones where you don't end up getting injections or some really invasive procedures, the ones where you don't have permanent impairment or permanent injuries, those are considered smaller value claims, and they tend to settle between $5,000 and maybe $25,000. Now, that might seem like a lot of money, but it only works if you can show that you got your MRIs, you got all of the diagnostic imaging done, and you followed up with all the necessary treatment that was prescribed to you. That includes chiropractic, physical therapy, and following up with an orthopedic doctor. We have cases where you don't go to the chiropractor, you don't go to the physical therapist, you don't need to see an orthopedic. You just get in an accident and you bang your head and you have a gash across your forehead. Well, in that case, that's why we have the 99% rule. You know, there's the 1% of cases that don't apply to the generic chiro, PT, ortho sort of trifecta. In those cases, you can just see a neurologist that's gonna evaluate you for a concussion or TBI, and you could probably see a plastic surgeon that's gonna evaluate the scar and tell you, hey, this is gonna cost you 8 grand to get fixed if you wanna go back to pre-accident condition. And in those cases, we can still get $25, $50, even $100,000 on those cases. But as a general rule, the smaller value claims where there's not serious or severe injuries fall in that $5,000 to $25,000 category. The ones that are a little bit more severe, where you have injections or maybe even procedural estimates for future injections, those can range in that $25,000 to $100,000 value. But make no mistake, you can't guarantee that you're gonna make this much money unless there is sufficient coverage. Insurance companies don't always give their insureds and their customers the best insurance policies. Now, if you get hit by a FedEx truck where there's a $7.5 million policy, you know that there's going to be enough coverage for whatever treatment you need to get done. But if you get hit by an uninsured driver that just stole the vehicle and they don't have insurance on the car, and you only have $25,000 in uninsured motorist coverage, no matter how much pain, suffering, medical damages, and injections and procedures that you need to get, you're capped at the amount of insurance coverage that is available. So take this with a pinch of salt. Smaller cases are gonna be worth $5,000 to $25,000 in my experience. The slightly more invasive procedures and more difficult cases, $25,000 to $100,000. And then the more serious cases where you might need surgeries, or you have a traumatic brain injury, or you have future estimated procedures and treatment for an extended period of time, those are our $100,000 plus cases, and that's how usually where we get the $1 million settlements plus. So I hope this video has helped you answer the age-old question of what is the average payout for a personal injury claim. Please watch my other videos on punitive damages because I'm going to go into detail on how to get even more money from just the generic $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 policies. I'm Ali Awad, the CEO lawyer. It would be an honor for me if you subscribe to my channel and watch the rest of my videos. I'm here to add value to you, so please subscribe and I'll see you soon.